I guess just your thoughts on picking up your first win of the season.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. I thought the defense, pretty much dominated the game. They played really well. Derek changed the game with those 2 touchdowns. So we got to do better on offense and special teams. All 12 had a hand in on offense, and we got a long ways to go.
How big is it for your team to see, someone like Derek?
Yeah, we thought Derek's a good player, right? He's got a lot of range for free safety. He's got to work on some tackling. But for the most part, I thought, he did a great job. We had him playing both ways in camp, but he didn't get a lot of defense until like the last 4 or 5 days. So he's going to be a big player for us. Good kid, works his butt off. Great character.
Just a comment on your QB's performance tonight.
Well, he did some decent things, but we couldn't get in a rhythm, and the receivers didn't help him out much either, right? So we're stuck in second long all game, and then they're running their stunts and getting after the pass rush. So I thought Nick saw it pretty well, and we all got to improve on offense.
What can you take from this week to kind of building some momentum on this first week?
Well, I think it's exciting to get a win, right? So I think those guys deserved it. Fought hard. We got a long ways to go. We got a short week, 5-day week. We're only going to get to practice once. Guys were beat up, and we have some injuries again today. So, Hamilton's playing good football. Their offense is very potent, but their defense really turned it on last week. So we got a tough opponent at home. We got to win at our house.
Ryan, I'm sure happy with the response from the team. How big was it to see all three phases contribute tonight?
Well, I'd say two phases maybe. Defense I thought played really well. Special teams had some moments. I thought they did a good job, on our coverage units. That didn't get many big returns. We know how good their returners are. But offensively, man, that was tough to watch.
What is it from the offense that you like to see them do better?
Just simple execution, right? Understand who we need to block. There's times we didn't block the right guy. Tailback was supposed to have an over-the-top handoff. We had a great play and ended up losing 4 yards. We've been running that same play since day 3 of training camp. It's always the same match. Those mistakes like that, offensively, can't happen. We're playing sloppy right now. We got a long ways to go on offense, but we're going to do our darndest to figure out a way.
You've always been talking a lot about Derek Slywka and what you think his potential is. Was this just a glimpse of what we can see from him?
Yeah, I think he's a good player. We've had him going both ways in camp. He only got about 4 days on defense, at the end. He's a good player. He changed the game. That was a huge, huge play. He ran about 160 yards on that play. So, that kind of changed the game for us.
Ryan, obviously coming off the great result like you guys had tonight with the win, I know you said there's some stuff to work on, but how do you do that quick turnaround now, like you were saying, how it is a short week coming up with the injuries? How do you guys handle that going into this week, especially, too, against the Hamilton team as well, who seem to get on the right page as well?
Yeah, so I'll sit down with the trainers tomorrow and get a more, thorough thought process on how long these guys could potentially be out. Next man up, so unfortunately we had some injuries. Chop got hit in the eye. And so his eye was swollen. He couldn't even see out of it. So, we had Kevin the whole game. And, I wish we could have ran the ball a little bit more, but I wish we could have ran the ball a little bit more success other than the one Kevin, popped for that 9-yard run at the end. We got to find ways to block the right people. And, we got to run the ball. And that's how we're going to push the ball down the field with our play actions. Just we're a long ways away on offense.
And even I know you were saying you're a long ways on offense, but how have you felt just overall about Nick's performance as the weeks have gone on, as you've slowly started to see some progress, or what have you seen from Nick that's impressed you so far?
I think he sees the field. He's got a plan, right? He's been climbing the pocket. He had the one big scramble, actually 2 big scrambles. So, I think we got to do a better job protecting him, right? And we got to do a better job of, staying out of second and long. And, he's fighting, but, it takes all 12 on offense. And, it's not always the quarterbacks who get scrutinized for not scoring points. It's, all of us, right? So we got to get better on offense.
And then just the last one from me, the defense tonight really showed up, allowing a season low points and 16 points. How do you help them out to carry their momentum going forward, just as the season come along with the games now that we're transitioning from June to July, excuse me?
Yeah, I think that, they've been playing well. We've been on the field, a lot of plays. I don't know how we had on offense, like 30-some plays. That ain't getting it done. So, I thought all 12 on defense all play well. Defense line did a great job. Cam Judge was lights out. So was D'Angelo. And then our secondary, right? We got the 2 big turnovers in the score zone. That really changed the game as well.
Derek, obviously, big two touchdowns there, but what have you seen from yourself to recognize those situations, know what you need to do to get in the end zone?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just being prepared when you do get the opportunity, and I think that comes with all the film that you're watching, being a student of the game, and then also keeping your head down and getting to work every day, and continuing to keep your body healthy too, so you have the stamina to also keep going. So yeah, I guess that's what I would attribute that to.
Have you ever ran a kick back that far before in any time, whether college or anything like that?
Uh, Not in college, maybe back in youth football, I think. So it's been a while. So yeah, no, it was definitely, one of those ones you're not trying to get caught either. So you're running, especially on the fumble recovery. It's probably the hardest I've run for that long in a while. So yeah, it's been a while. So it's kind of crazy. I'm still processing all of it, but excited to help the team get the win in any way possible.
What did you see from you guys as a unit tonight that allowed you to have the success against Ottawa?
Yeah, I think we as a unit just kept harping on the details and practices and meetings. When we're watching film, sometimes things don't go the way you want early in the year, but I don't feel like we ever quit. I don't feel like we ever took our foot off the gas. I think guys showed up to work and continue to work hard and grind. We're doing the stuff behind the scenes so that hopefully it's showing up in the game, and today it did. So.
Derek, obviously coming off the nice game that you just had, I just wanted to go not to the first touchdown, but to the kick return where you were going to the left and then you had to cut back to the right. In that moment, were you thinking when through your mind did you process hey, I'm gonna score here, or hey, I have a clear lane to get to the end zone?
Yeah, so I mean, at first when I grabbed it, I went to go left. I saw a lot of the guys pushing left. I cut back. A couple guys made a couple great blocks on our team. I know Milt is one that I saw. And that's just being a real teammate right there. And there's probably more I'm going to see on the film with guys working their butts off to make that play happen. So for me, I think that's a team play. That's Lanier making the field goal block, as well as the other play when Benji punches the ball out. I honestly that those guys doing their jobs and being great playmakers allows me to make a play. And I think that's my favorite part about it, is that there's so many other guys working hard in that play to help me get the shine and go get a touchdown.
Obviously after last week's game, the mood was not the best, just obviously with everything with coach said and everything like that. How did you feel that the mood going into this game was, to where you guys felt like, hey, you know what, we want to go in there to get the win, finish the week 1-0, as you guys always preach?
Yeah, I mean, our mindset was just keep focusing on the details. Sorry, there's a lot of racket in the background there. Keep focusing on the details. And then this game, we knew it was going to do whatever it takes. Find a way to win. Special teams, defense, offense. We got to play complementary football. Help a brother out. Someone doesn't make a play, you try to step up and make a play. Do your job, and play hard for full 60. That's what Coach Dinwiddie just kept preaching to the guys throughout the week.
And then just the last one for me. How do you guys turn around so quickly going into a short week against our rival in Hamilton?
Yeah, it's just going to be, again, getting back to this film, correcting the things that we got to correct, and having a great mental week. We might not be able to physically be out there practicing as much, but we can mentally be on point and make sure we're watching film, making sure we're talking through things, making sure we're talking through our calls, getting with coaches, and walkthroughs are going to be extra important, making sure guys show up and stay locked in. So that's our mindset, and there's no excuses. You got to show up and be ready to play.
Hey, Derek, congratulations on a great game. I don't know how historic it is, but obviously it's historic for yourself. Tell us a little bit about the short time you've spent on defense and basically being taken out of the offense because you were doing both. How surprising is this kind of offensive output considering the position you came to play?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a small town in Waterloo, New York, in the Finger Lakes region. I played both ways my whole life. I'm a 3-sport athlete, so I take pride in my ability to adapt to things and, just be a football player. So obviously, when I got switched back to defense, it was, I was excited. I played defense in college. I love defense. I loved offense as well. But, for me, it's just by whatever means necessary. I've come from a Division III school, and, you're a small school guy trying to play professional football. It's not done as much as you see from higher level guys. So, for me, it's always just doing whatever it takes and finding a way and just working my butt off.
You come from a small school. You're playing for a league that a lot of kids growing up where you are don't know about the league. It's kind of interesting that you're not a player that comes from a big thing, and this isn't a big league. Tell us the experience of playing in the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, I mean, when I got up here last year and I got to experience the tail end of our season in Toronto and obviously that historic Grey Cup run, I loved it. I think more people in the United States should watch the game. I think it's really exciting. I think it's high level football, and I love the fans. I think it's great. I think in a lot of ways I attribute a lot of the stuff I experienced in Division III football, where it kind of maybe doesn't get talked about all the time, but it's really exciting football, and the fans love it, and they're diehards. And I think just because maybe some people don't recognize it doesn't mean that in the States, I think it's huge here, and I really love the passion in the game and how exciting it is.
And you're not intimidated by the big college. Like, there are players who play in the Canadian Football League who had big names in football, especially the football players. You're not intimidated by those around you.
Sorry.
What gives you the power?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, for me, it's I just work really hard, and my coach Turper, in college, my head coach and DB coach, he was coaching at a D1 school in Holy Cross, and he's kind of what helped motivate me and give me the kind of vision to kind of go after it and tell me keep that courage and that, hey, it's possible if you keep working hard. So I mean, for me, I just put all my basically mindset is just to work hard and have a faith that my work ethic is going to persevere and allow me to have success, and not allowing myself to basically worry about things that I can't control, just controlling the controllables and trusting in my work ethic, and keep working hard at every off season, trying to find ways to keep getting better and get edges on people.
Hey Nick, I guess better feeling this week after what's been a kind of a rough start for you guys. What was your thoughts on just how everything went for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we did a great job playing a full team game. Defense and special teams both got us touchdowns, and when you see that happen, we were able to answer and ride the momentum, get us a 3-score lead off the offensive touchdown, and then from there, did play great complementary football. Flipped the field when we needed to, got first downs when we needed to, late in the game as they were trying to make a comeback. Didn't make any of the mistakes or the big plays that would get them back in the game, like turnovers in your own area of the field, things like that. So, played good complementary football. Now, we still left a lot on the table offensively in terms of how much production we want to get on the scoreboard. But at the end of the day, a win is a win, and even an ugly one. And pro football is not easy. It's not easy to get wins. We just got to go back to the drawing board and learn from our mistakes and keep moving forward.
It feels like you had a really good rapport, obviously, with DeVaris. You guys have spent so many years together working together, but it just felt like his addition tonight, him coming back, brought a different level of comfort for you tonight.
Oh, yeah. I mean, DeVaris is one of my boys. Not only our time back in Calgary, but, spending all offseason with him. Me and him, probably spent more time with each other than anybody else, from the January through April, running, our youth programs together, coaching kids 2-3 times a week together, every single week from December through training camp starting, and continuing to do that stuff during the season. So me and him have a very good off-field and on-field relationship, and obviously that chemistry shows through in the game as well.
It feels like if you just throw something up deep, there's a really good chance DeMonte's going to come up with it, and we saw that a couple of times tonight. Like, what about DeMonte gives you that comfort to go for those plays, even though he may not be always wide open?
He's one of those just special receivers when the ball is in the air. There's a few of them around the league, and they're rare. And, when you have one on your team, it's just a secret weapon. It's a security blanket. Because, in situations where, it's going to happen in games where maybe your concept isn't perfect for the coverage, or, they just do a really good job within their coverage to match everything and take things the way you want to throw. But you have that added benefit of, okay, if nothing's there, is coaching one-on-one down the field. It works as, it's either going to be a big play, maybe a pass interference, but if not, it's just a good throwaway because more often than not, the other guy's definitely not going to get it. So, Coachy does a great job with those plays, and he's also great with the ball in his hands, yards after catch, and route running. So he's not just a one-trick pony, and I think, he's just a big energy boost and everything to our team.
Yes, Nick, I just wanted to ask you, obviously besides congratulations on the win, I wanted to ask you, how have you felt about your progression as a starter with this team throughout the first 4 weeks of the season?
Good. We're still, trying to find, catch our stride on offense. Thought we made some really good strides last week against Sask. We just needed to put a full game together. Really, from the first 2 games, we made some really good plays. It was just about, as an offense, making sure we continue to get first downs and sustain drives, and not just have one drive here and there that's going to be good. I felt like we made that extra step last week. Unfortunately, it didn't result in a win, but it was a lot of good things to build off of. And then this week, Ottawa had a really good game plan. They did a good job of taking away a lot of the things we wanted to do, that we were trying to do. Taking away kind of the first read or the primary part of the play, and making me come down to check downs and run and things like that. Credit to them. And their defense coordinator has a lot of familiarity with our offense and the things we do from his time with us. And it's a fun chess battle, and it'll be fun to go back against them later on in the season.
Just the next one for me. How do you guys in the room just, take the momentum from this win, but quickly turn it around because you've got a big rival who's in a similar position as you guys in Hamilton this coming Friday? You still want to celebrate a win. You want to cherish these moments because it's not easy to win pro football, regardless how it looks. But then it's on to this next game, and we got to make sure that the win doesn't overshadow any of the mistakes and the things that we got to correct and get better on this week going into the next week. It's the only way to build and string together, a run of wins. Because, anything we didn't do well, I'm sure Hamilton's going to see it on film and, test us with it, offensively, defensively, and special teams. So in all 3 phases, we're going to have to, part of trying to build a winning streak is making sure that we continue to get better and improve on, the things that we did wrong and have urgency again going into this week, even just with one practice. And on that note of doing well, I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't ask about the touchdown to Hunter there tonight. Just a bit of a 2-parter for me. One, did you know he was going to be the guy you were going to? And a bit of a lighter question for me. If now, since you were the guy get him a touchdown, what was something you'd want him to make you? Because obviously, look, he's a guy who cooks both now on and off the field.
It was a play that, we worked on. We kind of knew what we were going to get, how it was going to look. It looked good in practice. Ryan looked really good catching the football. Got us a lot of confidence in it. And so that was just fun. And really, at that point, it was just him figuring out what he wanted to do for his celebration, and kind of pre-planned that. But happy we got it called, happy we got the look we wanted from it. And then, anything he wants to make. I'm particular to any kind of shrimp dishes, especially like Cajun shrimp Alfredo. That's probably my number one. Anything like that would be great.
Hey, Nick, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
This team came in 0-3, and you didn't want to be 0-4. Speak to the personalities in the locker room and on the field to this victory, the perseverance.
I think it really started in practice. Everybody, the leaders of the team stepped up, and they really kind of rose the level of everybody, all the young guys around, understanding the urgency going into this week, understanding that, you can't hang your head and get down on being 0-3. It's a long season, but you also can't wait to turn it around. There was a lot of importance put into, getting this win and letting it build going into this stretch of East opponents that we have. With Hamilton coming up next. It was great. There's a lot of energy at practice, a lot of energy in the meeting rooms, and everybody played a great part in that, from top to bottom. And we'll continue to carry that mantra and hold that level of that standard going forward.
I know hard work, execution, such is very important for a football team. How important is it, at least from the outside, from my perspective? It looked like the team was having fun. The Hunter thing is one, but there were other plays that had the guys smiling. How important is that to sort of have that kid-like appreciation of the game?
It is important, because you need, that helps you play loose and play free and play fast, when you're having fun. And, it's something you're more willing to go that extra mile, to finish a block, to finish a run, to finish a tackle, to bring violence with your responsibility and your job. When you're having fun, and that's contagious. Allows everybody to kind of play within the same mold. So, we're enjoying each other on and off the field, and we have a great thing going, and that's important because you spend 6 days a week in the building and on the practice field together for only one game that you play, once a week. So it's important to really like each other and to have that camaraderie in the locker room.
Speak to the byproduct of winning tonight, knowing that Hamilton has improved over the start of the season. How does that enhance your preparation for the game, and how much do you look forward to knowing that you're playing a team that's up and ready to win, and you've proven that you can win? The challenge that has presented itself.
Yeah, and I think whenever you play Hamilton, there's that rivalry, there's that familiarity we have from coaches on the staff, players that have been with us before, players that we just played against, 3-4 times, play 5 times, including preseason and playoffs some years. So, there's a lot of familiarity with us down the road from them, and that's always going to bring another level of intensity, and making sure that all the young guys who haven't experienced this rivalry understand, how we're going to turn it up a notch this week and our level of preparation, from the mental and physical aspect. Because 5 days is a quick turnaround, and we got to make sure our bodies and minds are right, ready to go win another game.